I'm Tracy West from Saint-Gaudens Tile, and welcome to our video on how to design a backsplash. My husband and I just recently bought a home that was built in the 70s. The kitchen's been remodeled probably in the 80s, but we're both cooks, and so what we've decided to do is remodel it again. We thought that would be a great way to demonstrate the process that you use in designing a backsplash. We've already selected some of our products. For example, what we know is that we're going to keep the base of our cabinets, the lowers and the uppers, because they're really in pretty good shape. We'll be refacing the cabinets, so that means that we'll put on new door fronts and drawer fronts. So we have selected those. We know that we're going to go with a dark stain for the cabinets, and we've selected our granite. So those two things we already have defined. What we don't know is how we're going to do our backsplash. Let's take an overview of the layout of the kitchen. That's an important thing to consider when you're doing a backsplash. None of the appliances will really be changing except for one. Dishwasher, which is at the left of the sink, will be going to the right of the sink. That doesn't really influence what we'll be doing with the backsplash, but it is a change that we're making. We've selected our appliances and we know that they're all going to be stainless steel. We're changing the electric stove to a gas stove. We're taking out the microwave and the cabinet above. We'll be putting in what's called a chimney style hood. That influences the backsplash because instead of stopping at this point now, the backsplash will go all the way up to the ceiling. On this wall, the only thing that's really changing other than the position of the dishwasher is the sink. The sink will be coming into the center of the window. That doesn't influence the design of the backsplash either. The other thing to take into consideration is the distance that you have from the countertop to the overhead cabinets, where the outlets are situated, and then also how the backsplash ends once you don't have any overhead cabinets anymore. So let's take a look at three areas that I'm a little concerned about. You can see one of them right here. What they've chosen to do with the existing backsplash is just have a cut piece of tile, and then they've done a little grouting to finish that edge. I don't like the way that looks, so I definitely want to do something different here. And they've done the same treatment over on this side. I don't like either one of those solutions. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do there, but when I go shopping for the product that I use for the backsplash, I want to keep these two areas in mind. This is the third area I'm a little concerned about, and you can see the current treatment of the backsplash. I think this looks really hokey. There are a couple of different ways to do this. This is an eating bar area. We'll be bringing the new granite countertop out 2 inches. Now, if I were to bring the backsplash all the way out for the full length of that new countertop, you can see what would happen is the backsplash would cut right through this electrical outlet. This outlet cannot be moved. That's not a good solution here, so I have to come up with something pretty clever here. I may bring the tile down from the countertop from the overhead cabinet down to the countertop, or I may do a single row of some kind of treatment here as a backsplash for this eating area. Since it's an eating area and not really a food prep area, I'm not so concerned really about having backsplash on this wall. So I'm sort of considering at this point just bringing the backsplash down. But again, when I go shopping for the material that I use for the backsplash, I want to keep this area in mind as well as the 2 areas by the window. Now, we've looked at the overview. We know that we have 3 problem areas that we need to consider, and the next step is to take some measurements. What we want to do is draw what's called an elevation, and that's just a diagram looking straight on to the cabinet installation. What I'm going to do with my tape is I will measure from the edge of the counter all the way over to this back wall so that I'll have an overall measurement of the full length of this backsplash. I'm really just worried about this area. Then what I'll do is measure from the edge of the countertop to where the overhead cabinet starts. I'll measure from the overhead cabinet to this edge. I know that this is where my range will be. I won't have this in any longer and this will be gone. So I measure this whole area. So I now have my elevation drawings with my measurements, being sure to put the outlets in there. I also want to know the height. So I've taken the height and the length in both of the walls that I'm concerned about. And I have those drawings. I don't happen to have a cabinet front, the new cabinet that we're going to get, but I do have a piece of paper that shows the style and basically the color. So I'm going to keep that. And then I also have a sample of the granite that we'll be using for the countertop. So with the drawings of the Backsplash, my samples, and I don't have, we're going to keep the floor. I haven't talked about the floor, I should tell you about the floor. We're going to keep the floor tile, but I don't have a sample of that. So what I'll do is take a picture with my phone and I will have at least an idea of what the floor tile looks like when I go to look for my Backsplash material. The other thing that would probably be a really good idea for me to do would be to take a picture of these problem areas that I talked about. When I go talk to the salesperson at the showroom, when I show them these pictures, they'll understand the problem I'm up against and they can help me design a really clever solution for those areas. So, armed with my samples, my diagrams, my pictures, now I'm ready to go shopping.